Good afternoon or evening, everybody. Hope you're doing well. Let's get into the daily market recap. Need to update the date here, Feb 3. All right, so a couple of trades to review from the session today. SNDK, we had an intraday setup on this that played out pretty well. So just want to go through that trade and the thought process from this morning on SNDK. So off the open, we had the 700 set up for breakout, and we put ETH on here. Right. So yesterday we had a big move higher, obviously on SNDK, the recovery from the exhaustion gap play. So you think about it, you have a big exhaustion gap and then just fully recover, right? It tells you that buyer's still in control. Seller's getting caught off sides, and we gap up and set up a move around the 700. 700 saw a really big trap on the open. And what this did is it set up this kind of sort of ABCD or shrimp pattern. People call it different things. Essentially, you have a first move up and then a takeout of the pre-market structure or support and sell lower. It often will set up a bit of consolidation that ends up resolving higher into the end of the session. And that's what we got. So I tried to time the entry on the dip. It was a little early, around the 676 level. We end up selling a bit more, recovered, got the consolidation, and then turned into the end of the day. So it ended up playing out as we, expected or looked for. And there was multiple different, scenarios that you could have entered or built a position, but nonetheless, the play worked out well. I'm holding half of the rolls for this. So we'll see if we can get a break over 700 tomorrow. S&P, I thought was a good breakdown trade. So we have established here is recovery back to 7,000 with multiple failed attempts to break above. Then today, we see a move lower that failed 69.67. I think that was an aggressive breakdown entry. And then secondarily, we have this 69.34, 69.20 support that has been a very key pivot within the range. This was a secondary op that I felt like was very good for a washout. The gamma profile also supported this in the suppressive charm. As we flipped into light negative gamma, you can expect things to speed up, which it did. So this was pretty good overall. I thought there was multiple opportunities on S&P to get short today, and those were worthy to review. Now, as far as the overall market is concerned, as we reviewed that, we got a really big dip today. And when we got this dip from the highs on Thursday of last week, we talked a little bit about how this will likely take some time to resolve. Anytime you get that big of a sell and then reversal, you're not typically going to resolve very quickly. The bigger the move you have, usually the more range will be created. And so what this has introduced is more volatility in the market. And we've seen that over the last several sessions. The big takeaway here is that we failed to break out over 7,000, and that's just really resolved in a emotional reaction back lower to the downside. Now, I mentioned a couple times that this is starting to feel and look a little bit more corrective in nature, just from a bigger perspective, bigger point of view. I still feel that way. I think if we can't manage to reclaim 69.20, 69.34, then that thesis to me is still in play. And if we, start to break down on these low 68.70, we're in for quite a bit of a drop. Now, this is speculative, it's just an idea. At the end of the day, we always will just trade what price is doing. But just based on how the market's behaving, it wouldn't be surprising to see. And I think it would be a nice reset for the market. That could be, 5, 10, or more percent correction. It's not uncommon to see that around February, March. As well. So it's just something that, I'm kind of keeping a close eye on in the market going forward from here. We did get a nice bounce, and that's the one thing that's stood out over the last three sessions is even with the large dips, the reactions to the upside, especially in the futures market going into the week, have been very violent to the upside, right? So my thought process is pretty simple from a psychological point of view here, that if, we continue to defend like that, the time that we don't, will likely resolve in a much bigger continuation lower. So we'll see. We'll see what goes on from here. I always will be, fairly neutral in terms of just looking to react. But this is kind of what the price action is making me feel right now. As for active positions, holding a little SNDK, I put a swing on Tesla today. I didn't close very nicely. I think that the lows will need to be taken out for this to work well. This is just more of an idea trade, and the stock has really failed to go higher. It's also failed to go lower, but this seems, this is like the fourth or fifth attempt now. So to me, the odds felt a little bit better. It did react though with the market and did recover back to 422. So, open to cutting this sooner than later. If it starts to react back to 430, it's fine. But if the market does enter more of a corrective phase, I think the fact that this has failed so many times to turn the corner, you could really see this accelerate to 400 to 380 next. So I positioned a position trade for the idea of that today. Outside of that, holding a little Boeing. Boeing is more of an idea trade as well. Willing to be patient with this. Put in a failed breakdown today with the market sell. Not too much to say here. It's holding, supporting EMAs. I'm just looking to see if it'll turn higher. A lot of things to like about Boeing. All right. SpaceX is holding some silver. Some Tesla calls, partial position, and McDonald's. These positions look good. The charts are, let's see, the McDonald's chart is really impressive. Let me pull up silver first, though. Silver's just kind of in an area of consolidation. I think it can get a little bit trickier from here, but it is still in play, so I want to keep an eye on it. Below 76 favors the downside, above favors the upside. MCD, this one made a really nice move today. Really nice strength. It didn't close very good, but big picture technically looks strong. A watch list going into tomorrow. CVNA continues to battle and defend this 400 area. I'm looking for a push above 424 for a breakout and potential squeeze higher as sellers get caught off sides following short report. ASTS, nice reversal back within the range today. So it's been a little bit weaker the last couple sessions, and then today, really nice bounce back off the 106 level, a nice close. So watch for continuation up to 120 tomorrow, and then 124 above that. All right, XOM had a really strong day as well as CVX. These just continue to be basically creating a standard slope to the upside. Really nice trend move higher. Today was a pretty big candle. So tomorrow's day two continuation. If we can break above 145, look for a move up to 150 next. STX is a really good looking chart. We have a clean high at the or all-time highs here on this 458 level. That's multiple tests. Following earnings that were very good. They had a nice day one candle, a bit of a big breather day, but recovered quickly, kind of like we've seen SNDK do. So if we can break these highs, this is a little bit more of a sleeper play, but looks good for a push up to 500 on STX. All right, MU and SNDK. So MU looking a little bit more like it could turn and pay for the downside. I just like how defined this 4-7 area is. Is a little bit weaker than SNDK, so it could be a start of a signal. But I don't know that these are done quite yet. But if it does, it's technical trade through 407. That could break 400 and start to really accelerate towards 384 as a bit of a pullback idea. And then I would focus on SNDK for the upside. We held up really, really well today, and we kind of talked about this already today. But this exhaustion gap was really the start of a new leg for the stock, whether it's up or down. It's kind of a day one situation, day one setup, and then you have a really nice snapback on day two. You break those highs today with obviously a very fast move at the open that created a trap, but it kept this in play to the upside and just kind of shows you who's still in control. This could very well go parabolic to 1,000. You don't want to underestimate it. We saw what SMCI did back in 2024, and this is continuing to do what it's doing. Premium is super expensive, a little harder to trade. Okay, the shares you saw trade some shares on this, but they did move well. So I will say the 750 calls moved really well, even being very far out of the money. I was pretty impressed by the way that they moved today. So just keep in mind they're very expensive. All right, guys, that's what I've got for you. Hope you have a great rest of your evening. I will see you all tomorrow in the room.